You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
I'm Stephen Cabral, and we have our second host call of the weekend. Really looking forward to answering this weekend's second batch of questions. And the reason I'm kind of laughing a little bit is because sometimes if you don't laugh, you just go a little bit insane. So it's better to laugh than go insane. This is actually my second time recording both yesterday's show and today's show. And the host calls are about 20 minutes long to get through all of them. And we're doing 5 questions both yesterday and today. And when I submitted them to my editor to just have them basically cleaned up, add the music before, add the music at the end. We don't do any editing except add music in the beginning, add music at the end. That's about it. But he told me that there was nothing. There was no audio at all. He couldn't hear anything. So I said, that can't be. I obviously was holding the microphone and the recorder. You know, it had to record. But lo and behold, I tested my equipment after I found out that he was telling the truth. I just didn't want to believe it. And the actual cord that connects the two was no longer functioning. So I'm hoping that answering these questions the second time around will be even better than the first. We'll call the first round a practice round. So let's get into it today. And again, as always, I'm more than happy to answer these questions even at the second time around. All right, so Nikki's up first. Nikki is asking, hi there. First, thank you so much for this podcast. I live in LA and actually look forward to driving so I can get some uninterrupted listening time in. I really appreciate you spreading your knowledge on wellness and also really enjoy the spiritual tones many of your podcasts take. I'm just so happy I found you and I tell all my friends and family about you often. Thank you. I really do appreciate that, Nikki. And that reasons, you know, literally when I get those emails, it's the reason I do what I do. I mean, it really is. It's the reason why I re-record the both podcasts back over and again. So her question is this. I recently had to give my 8-month-old antibiotics for an ear infection. While I really didn't want to, as I've heard you say, and also believe they should be taken in more life-threatening situations, the scared mother in me did, as I didn't want it to turn into something else with her being so young. My question is, what can I do now to help her? She's on solid foods a couple times a day, sweet potatoes, peas, bananas, etc. In the same vein, how do you handle situations with your children as far as what they eat with other family members or at parties when treats and sodas are flowing like crazy? So a couple other things. Let's answer these questions right now. Okay. So the bottom line is this. As a parent, you need to do at the end of the day what you feel absolutely comfortable doing and what will allow you to sleep at night and not have to just worry like, did I do the right thing? Yes or no? You know, so here's how I feel. You're not in the wrong at all by giving your daughter antibiotics. You felt that she needed them, and maybe she did. Like, you could absolutely be correct. It's not for me to say not to give your daughter antibiotics. It's for me to simply present additional information to you so that you can make the best decision possible, right? I believe you said, I just want to see here if you, ear infection, right? So what do I do for, let me just give you what I do. So when my daughters have had an ear infection before in the past, they've each had one, what I did was this. We love this company. They're called Nutribiotics. That's the name of the company. We're big fans of them. We own no stock of them. I'm just happy to, like, as you know, I'm happy to promote anything that brings health, happiness to other people. This is a product that actually is basically a natural antibiotic. It uses something called grapefruit seed extract and citracidal as the active ingredient. So like gummy-like drop. And so what you do is they make a nasal spray. They make all sorts of different things. What I'm going to do, I just want you to keep in mind that we are an offline practice. Basically, we have 2 practices in Boston. Our online practice is just a fraction of what we do. In the future, I hope it to be at least half of what we do, bringing more information to people. So having said that, I'm going to get you my ear, nose, and throat protocol very soon. It will be on the online store with all the products that I recommend, and then you can just have it on hand. So what we do is we use the ear drops for when one of our daughters or someone gets an infection. And so We just have them literally lay on their side. We just pull the earlobe down slightly, and we put 2 to 3 drops in there. We let it hang out for about 2 to 3 minutes, and we put a hot compress. Just whether you want to heat up some rice, put it in a towel. That's really nice. Kids love that. You do a little lavender oil. We do that for my daughter as well. Or you can just use a hot cloth, and just that works great as well. So that's what we do. Another thing that works phenomenally well is actually heating up some garlic in a pan with a little bit of olive oil. What you do is you then let that oil cool. You put that into a little tincture bottle. So we use vitamin D drops for our girls. So when the vitamin D runs out, we're frugal, and we just basically save those little vitamin D bottles, and we make our own tinctures of different essential oils, things like that. So we have one that's just a garlic oil, and we use that just as a fresh one. We use it for a couple days. And we'll put a couple drops of this garlic oil right in the air. Garlic is a phenomenal antibacterial and a phenomenal antimicrobial. It works tremendously well for ear infections. So in the future, that is what I would recommend in terms of them going to parties. So our girls eat well. I make them a smoothie every morning. It has my greens powder. It has, some multi in there. It has all sorts of good stuff that they like. They might have some oatmeal in the morning. They might have some cut up fruit. Just really good overall healthy stuff. For lunch, they're eating healthy. Dinner, they're eating healthy. All these good things. And then when they go to a party, for one, their taste buds aren't used to all of these really artificial sweeteners. So we let them try a lot of different things. We don't love them to eat everything. Like one thing I don't want my girls really to eat is ice cream. Ice cream is pretty bad. It really is. There's no getting around it. It's high fructose corn syrup. It's antibiotic fed, estrogen fed cows. It's high in omega-6s. The dairy really causes mucus in the body. Not good. So we make our own natural ice cream. But if we're at a party, we let them have a slice of cake if that's what they want. And they have it, and then that's it. So when they have a cheat meal once a week or twice a week, whatever it might be. Again, we're not counting this is your one cheat meal. But what we're doing is we're trying to have our daughters eat healthier more times than not, right? 9 out of 10 meals or more. And then they're just like any other kid, and they can have those things when they're around other kids so that they're not feeling they're feeling stressed out that they can't have those things. They just know that these aren't healthy foods. They can have it. They can enjoy it. No problem at all. I do the same thing myself, so I'm certainly not going to be a hypocrite. I'll answer more of that in the future, but I do want to move on to our second question because we have 5 today. All right. But Nikki, hopefully that answered your question well enough. Laura is up next. She's asking, hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm a physical therapist who works with patients with pelvic pain and pelvic floor disorders. Many of them have chronic constipation. I know that unless their constipation resolves, they will not get better due to the pressure on the pelvic floor and increased inflammation. I'm constantly referring my patients to functional medicine, but they rarely follow through because of the cost. So instead, I've started making my own recommendations based on my own research. I advise them to take magnesium glycinate and magnesium citrate powder to soften the stool. This has been very effective. I may also recommend a probiotic. If they're willing to take a step further, I will instruct them in an elimination diet to look for food sensitivities. I know it's preferable to treat the underlying cause, but I know that if I don't get their bowels moving quickly, any work I do to relax and strengthen the pelvic floor is futile. Any advice for me as a practitioner trying to help my patients? All right. So Laura, I'm glad you wrote in. We work with this all the time, right? All the time. So I have great relationships with chiropractors, with physical therapists such as yourself, acupuncturists, MDs. I work with these doctors and health practitioners on their own health. They see it working, and then they refer their patients. It's fantastic. And then vice versa. If I'm looking for subluxations of the spine, I'll go out to a chiropractor. If I want someone to do specific acupuncture, even though I'm trained in it, I refer to an expert in acupuncture, and I refer out for that. Pelvic floor, any of these issues, back to a physical therapist. So it's nice. So yesterday, believe it or not, I went back and forth, Laura, for so many different things. Now I have the benefit of just giving you the straightforward on what we do. So really simply is this. The first thing you want to do, and I understand functional medicine is expensive, and that's because the labs are not covered by health insurance, and the doctors or health practitioners that practice functional medicine, they can't take health insurance either. It's just the way it is. So it's one of those things, and we all wish that it was covered by insurance, but it's not. And health insurance, they play games anyway. So anyway, that's a story for another day. So what we do is we right away put them on an intestinal cleanse. I'm just going to keep you referring to the store. So just go to steamcabral.com/store so you can see exactly what we do. So we do a very specific intestinal cleanse that's going to help push out a lot of bacterial overgrowth, yeast overgrowth. It's going to push out stool that's kind of hardened and lodged onto the side of the intestines. That's to get things going. Then after that, they're going to be on the constipation protocol, which is magnesium citrate, a little different than glycinate, and it's going to be on psyllium husk powder, which is the EVAC. The EVAC powder powder has just been third-party tested for mold, contaminants, heavy metals. Then after that, I would continue on with that. Magnesium glycinate is a phenomenal product. It's the most well-absorbed, best absorbed form of magnesium. The issue is it doesn't help as much with the constipation. It actually helps more with anxiety, nervous system, stress, because it's so well-absorbed. Magnesium citrate will get into your body faster. Not as well-absorbed will help soften the stool a little bit. Vitamin C absolutely does help soften the stool, so you can continue to use that. I just like the magnesium better because it helps with the peristaltic movement where vitamin C does not. Vitamin C just acts as a stool softener if you take too much. So in my opinion, vitamin C, not as great as the magnesium citrate or the psyllium husk powder. And then, if possible, try to get them on that elimination diet. And without a doubt, taking a probiotic. The clean gut probiotic is absolutely where they should be at. Try to do all of this for 90 days, see how they feel while adding in more vegetables, more fruit to their diet. Try to do a smoothie in the morning. I know that smoothie is going to help get their bowels moving as well. And then they can still have their cheat meals once or twice a week. No problem. So you get the best of both worlds. It sounds like you're already doing a great job. Hopefully me fine-tuning it, saying do the intestinal cleanse protocol, followed up with the constipation protocol, do a smoothie every morning, use the clean gut probiotic for the probiotic. You're going to be doing great. Okay. Up next is Christine. And Christine is asking, hello, I really enjoy the Cabral concept and listen regularly. I'm hoping you can discuss MTHFR. I have recently found that I have homogeneous, or it's just called homozygous or heterozygous MTHFR, and wondering if supplements work, meaning MTHF and Ultra B folate, and how long will I need to take them? Okay, so this is a great question. And if you listened in yesterday, I talked about the genetics and DNA testing. So what you want to do is you want to test your DNA. Because when you look at your DNA and you look at specific, you're looking at alleles, you're looking at SNPs, you're looking at your genotype, you're looking at your genetics. MTHFR, I'm only going to mention this once because everybody's eyes kind of like glaze over, but it's called methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase. I found out about this, fortunately, it's got to be 12 years ago now, maybe more. I don't even know how, but many years ago. I was working with who ultimately became kind of my mentor. And she was an older physician, studied both functional medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, hence why I kind of led down that path as well. And she was the first person to mention, like, hey, you might have something going on here. You seem to have autoimmune in your family. You seem to have really hard issues with inflammation, allergies, immune dysfunction, all sorts of different fatigue issues. You might have an MTHFR issue. And I said, okay, what is that? And then I came to do deep research on it. And basically people with this MTHFR mutation, they're so much more prone to inflammation. They can't use things like folate and B12 and other B vitamins to the best of their ability, because what happens is these things go through what's called a methylation cycle. So in order for you to go from folic acid to folate to methylfolate or 5-methylfolate reductase, is you're not going to get that unless you're taking a good methylated B vitamin. That's why I'm so adamant that when you are purchasing supplements, it should say methylcobalamin for your B12, methylfolate or nature folate, or 5-MTHF, as Christine or Chris just mentioned here as well. That is how you're going to absorb those. Believe it or not, if you take folic acid and you're 33% or 70% occluded, meaning like you can look at your genetics and see how poor your methylation defects are, that's actually going to become toxic in your system. Folic acid is more synthetic, where folate comes from food, and methylfolate, the actual bioavailable usable form, comes from the methylated version. So when you look at our B vitamin, when you look at our all-in-one powder, when you look at our multivitamin, the activated multis, again, they cost the same. There's no markup. We certainly don't do that. That you're going to be able to get these at the same great cost you would get anywhere else, but they're a functional medicine brand, and that means they cost, ours easily cost 10 times the amount of like something you'd find at CVS or Walmart or Target. Those are very, very cheap vitamins. And I know, Christine, you're not taking those because I can see the brands that you're taking, and you're taking the methylated types, which are great. How long do you need to take them? Well, as long as your body needs them. Meaning that if you're dealing with these methylation-based issues and they're turned on, meaning that you're through epigenetics, meaning lifestyle, stress, all of these other factors, they are taking a methylated B vitamin, or just at least taking a methylated all-in-one. is going to help you stay healthier for the rest of your life. So I consider it a very small trade-off to take one B capsule every single morning with breakfast, or take my all-in-one shake every single morning. Minor trade-off. I'm going to be taking a multi anyways. Might as well be taking the methylated version. So hopefully that helps. Basically looking at your blood labs, looking at your homocysteine, looking at your CRP, looking at cholesterol, looking at how well you're detoxifying, looking at your hematocrit and all your red blood cells will tell you if you're doing a good job or not. If you're highly inflamed, turn on the extra B vitamins. If you're doing well, then just do your all-in-one. All right? Hopefully that answers your question. Michelle's up next. Michelle's asking, hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm so happy I found your podcast, and thank you for all you do, including answering questions that everyone sends in. I have hemorrhoids. I can manage them with over-the-counter products, but I just wish I didn't have to. I eat lots of fruits and vegetables and fiber. I drink a lot of water and nothing else except a cup of coffee in the morning and early afternoon. I limit my alcohol to events only. I exercise 3 to 4 days a week. I take extra magnesium. I'm not sure what else I can do. At what point do I go to the doctor to fix this? Thank you. Signed, Michelle. Okay, Michelle, work with this issue all of the time. The issue is this, right? It's inflammation. So people don't know who hemorrhoids are. Hemorrhoids are, I'm not going to use some bad analogies and pun right here. What I'm going to say is it's literally inflamed varicose veins, or right around the veins right around the anus. So when you have a bowel movement, it can cause stress and it can actually exacerbate hemorrhoids. One thing I just have to mention right away is just make sure, if you're having multiple bowel movements per day, that you're using a baby wipe or something much gentler on the anus so that you're not then irritating those very sensitive veins there in the first place. I know in a lot of European countries, they have bidets, right? Well, if you were to do something like that, then you wouldn't even have to wipe and irritate that sensitive area. Okay. The second thing is, just for topical relief, I want you to try using apple cider vinegar, and I want you to try to do that twice per day. You're just going to basically, you can use a cotton ball, and you're going to put apple cider vinegar, soak that on the cotton ball, right on the anal tissue and the hemorrhoids themselves. Okay, if they're internal, that's okay. You can just use it externally. And then the next thing that I want you to do is then apply, after it dries, apply cold aloe vera. So take aloe vera out of your refrigerator and apply the aloe vera gel right to the anus as well. That's going to help cool, hopefully, and deflame the varicose veins. I'm going to give you more recommendations if you need in the future. I'm happy to do those as well. You can take apple cider vinegar internally as well, about 2 ounces or just 2 tablespoons first thing in the morning. You can do that in the evening if you'd like as well. You can do that with your greens powder, which is typically how we recommend it as well. Okay, what else can you do? Well, what else you can do is this, is just make sure, because varicose veins can come on with any type of stress, tension, straining. I would like you to use something called the Constipation protocol. It is magnesium citrate and it's psyllium husk fiber. We have that on the website. You can see what we use at the online store. That's going to help tremendously. And I also want you to be doing a liquid-only breakfast. I want you to do a smoothie, which is going to do berries and fruit that you would like. You can throw in some greens there if you want. You can do some coconut oil. Coconut oil is actually good as an application on the anus as well, but I want you to first try the apple cider vinegar and the aloe vera, and then after that, a week later, if you want, you can then use the coconut oil as well. However, the first two, usually application-wise, get better results. Okay, and that is what I'm looking for, and then make sure you get lots of fruits and veggies like you're talking about, so you add more bulk to the stool as well. Be careful with any inflammation in your diet. Be careful with any of the anti-inflammatories. Do make sure that you're taking that pure omega, which we have on the website as well. That's your anti-inflammatory. It's high EPA, which means it's the highest level of anti-inflammatory omega-3 that you can get. There's a reason why we use that specifically. I would recommend that. I'm hoping that that works for you. There's always a reason why. We can fix this, but start there, okay? Patrick is up next, and Patrick's asking, is there any advantage to the type of protein you're taking? I know pea protein is popular and other vegan varieties, but many health fitness articles say whey is the protein of choice. Does it really matter? In the end, does your body just synthesize protein? Thanks. Okay, Patrick, really smart question, because you're already understanding that your body doesn't really care what type of protein you take in. What it cares about is the amino acids that protein is made up of. So what it cares about is those branched chain amino acids and all the essential amino acids, all of those things that go along with it. So like branched chains are your leucine, your isoleucine, your valine. But here's the thing. So the reason why my product specifically, and again, most people are leaning towards a pea protein or a rice pea protein or a hemp protein, is because most people don't know this. Again, like I'm sharing this with you because I only found this out after doing hundreds of food sensitivity tests. The number one food sensitivity from an IgG perspective is hands down dairy. Dairy is made up of casein. The protein is made up of casein and whey. If you're taking in whey, you could have a sensitivity to it. It leads to kind of an overall, kind of a little bit of bloating and a little bit of softness around the belly area, okay? If you don't have an issue with whey, could be totally fine. Some people do fine with goat's whey. Casein, not so much. Whey is a fast digesting protein, which actually means it can spike blood sugar levels, unlike the more vegan varieties. However, I'm not going to be biased, and I am going to say that whey protein and eggs are more bioavailable, meaning easier to kind of assimilate, break down, and use. Having said that, guess what the number 2 food sensitivity in the world is? Egg whites. Not egg yolks, egg whites. And so when you're looking at it, like, okay, well, what am I using for a protein powder? Most popular is whey, then probably casein, which I absolutely do not recommend. Casein is just horrible for your body. Again, you can read all sorts of research on that. And then egg whites or egg white protein, again, is another popular one. Dairy's number 1 allergen. Egg whites are number 2. Then it gets to gluten for number 3. So believe it or not, there are more food sensitivities. What I'm saying is this. I just recommend, just from a health perspective, the pea and rice combination, and the reason is that you're getting the nice bioavailability because you're mixing the different amino acids from pea and rice together, which means it's more complete. And if you need more protein, like if 15 grams per shake isn't enough for you, well, then you could add in some additional hemp protein to that or anything you would like. So, honestly, if you don't have it, run a food sensitivity test, right? Like, let's answer this question right now. Do you get bloating or gas or anything like that when you eat dairy? Okay, you don't? Good. Then you don't have an IgE sensitivity most likely. But then do the food sensitivity test, which shows your IgG reaction, because if you're taking in whey protein or you're taking in dairy every single day and you don't feel any of the effects, well, if you look at your food sensitivity test and it looks at it from a latent response, 24 to 72 hours in the IgG test, well, you could be creating inflammation in your body every single day, making it harder to recover, making it harder to rebuild your tissues. So anyway, that's my recommendation. If you can do the food sensitivity test, you're going to find out 94 healthy foods and your sensitivity to those foods, meaning that there is no one food for every human. So let's see what the right ones are for you. And then you actually have the data to back that up. Because whey protein can be a very strong protein source for people trying to build more muscle. And so just kind of take that with a grain of salt. You can build muscle with any type of protein. So in the end, as always, it comes down to bio-individuality and seeing what is best for your body. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another Cabral House Call. Really, really enjoyed answering these questions a second time around, and I really hope you're enjoying the weekend. I look forward to also speaking with you tomorrow on our Mindset and Motivation Monday. You're going to want to tune in for that one. It's going to be a good one. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.